Hello YouTube, this is Danger Darwin's video, 15 everyday invention created by accident. I do not own this video. I do not get paid doing this video. Of course I don't. I only have 13 subscribers, I think. Well, we're going to watch this. Well, okay, let me explain the microphone real fast. Like, in the videos, you could hear, like, the microphone get hit or something. I don't know what that causes. I don't know what causes that. I think it's because it's moved when I put my hand on my desk. This will be my last react episode for today because I need to do my homework. Yeah, so let's get to the video.
Gas that nobody knew could stop you from feeling pain. We count 15 innovative creations created by the craziest of accidents.
Number 15.
Potato chips, an invention that only became a reality when a chef in upstate New York called George Crumb had a customer continually send back his plate of fried potatoes, claiming they weren't satisfactory. George got so fed up that he thinly sliced the potatoes and deep fried them until they were crispy, simply to spite the customer. But in a bizarre twist, the customer loved the potato chips and asked for more. After that, potato chips suddenly became a huge thing in the snack industry, simply because a chef was pissed off at this annoying customer.
I don't like
Number 14.
chips.
Cornflakes. 1984, the Kellogg brothers ran a hospital and health spa in Michigan in which they advised clients to abstain from meat, alcohol, tobacco, and a whole manner of things deemed unhealthy at the time. They substituted caffeine in coffee with granola, and one day when cooking some wheat, they were called away only to come back and find the wheat stale, but they still put it through the rollers. Out came this wheat berry flattened into thin flakes, paving the way for the cereal we know today as cornflakes. Later, the company would shy away from the healthy breakfast lineup to focus on outdoing the sugar-filled competition with honeycomb and waffle crisp cornflake flavors.
Number 13.
Play-Doh. It was originally a wallpaper cleaner, a successful one at that, but after people stopped using coal to heat their homes in the mid-20th century, wallpaper stayed clean. The owner of the company quickly thought up an alternative to their product with help from his sister-in-law to market it as modeling clay for children. They took out the detergent ingredient, added a pleasant scent and a variety of colors, and Play-Doh became what we know today.
Number 12.
Chocolate chip cookies. 1930, a woman was baking a chocolate dessert when she realized she'd run out of traditional chocolate. To substitute, she dumped in Nestle chocolate chips. To her shock, the chocolate chips didn't melt into the cookie, but stayed relatively solid. Her initial disappointment gave way a few years later when Nestle offered her a deal to use her company name in a line of the world's first chocolate chip cookies known as semi-sweet chocolate morsels. The recipe went on to become a staple in restaurants and kitchens across the globe.
Number 11.
Velcro. 1950s, a Swiss man named George de Mestral walking through the countryside, annoyed that those little sticky plants known as cockleburs were all over his clothes.
I got about this too. The guy was interested into the things sticking to his clothes.
Home and took out a microscope only to find these things actually had microscopic hooks which latched onto the fabric of his clothes. He then took this information and devised a material that might be used to keep things easily stuck together without adhesive or tightness. Hence the idea of Velcro was born.
Number 10.
X-rays. In the era of developing knowledge on invisible rays such as radio waves and radiation, one physicist discovered that when he pumped electricity through a special light bulb tube, a chemical a few feet away would glow. He realized that the tube was sending out invisible rays that could penetrate paper, wood, and even skin. He called them X-rays, the X meaning unknown. The first X-ray image was of the bone in his wife's hand, and upon viewing this image, she cried out, "I have seen my own death."
Number 9.
Penicillin. Before this discovery in the age of antibiotics, common illnesses were rampant and lethal. The average life expectancy was hardly above the age of 50. In 1928, Alexander Fleming left town for a while and came back to find his petri dishes were full of mold and contamination. One container drew his eye though. Although it was covered in bacteria, in one area was a blob of mold. Around the mold, an area free of bacteria, as if the mold were blocking it from approaching. The contents of this petri dish could be used to kill a huge amount of bacteria, hence the discovery of penicillin.
Number 8.
plastic. If it weren't for two accidents, it's possible we would be using clay and eggs mixed with animal blood as a water bottle. But Charles Goodyear of Goodyear Tires combined rubber and sulfur and accidentally placed it on a stove, where it merged to form a strong and durable material we know today as plastic. Whereas in an unrelated incident, in a contest to find a replacement for elephant ivory and billiard balls, John Wesley Hyatt spilled a bottle of collodion where it dried up to form plastic. By the year 1872, his creation became the first commercially successful plastic.
Number 7.
Superglue. A researcher at Kodak called Harry Coover experimenting with plastic lenses for gun sights when he stumbled on an extra sticky adhesive made from synthetic materials. He thought nothing of it at the time, but almost 10 years later, one of his assistants rediscovered it while accidentally sticking a couple of prisms together. Harry realized the market potential, so he decided to take it further and commercialize it. The title, Superglue.
Number 6.
Anesthesia. We're all thankful for this one, the so-called laughing gas used to inhibit pain during surgery. It was in the 1800s that inhaling the gas was more of a social event referred to as a laughing party or ether frolic. In 1844, Horace Wells saw a man with an injured leg while under the influence of the laughing gas, to which the man claimed he didn't feel any pain. Following this, Horace used the gas to help him remove a tooth, to which he and some colleagues realized they could use it in the wider field of dentistry. Over the years, it took off and became a staple of the medical industry.
Number 5.
Tea, a very old recipe from thousands of years ago which, if legend would have us believe, saw a Chinese emperor named Shennong boiling his drinking water in a cauldron. One windy day, some leaves from a nearby tea bush blew into the water without his knowledge and turned it a light brown. Most would tip out the water and start again, but since Shennong understood herbalism, he decided to risk a taste, only to discover it actually tasted kind of nice, and thus tea became a thing.
Number 4.
Matches. For tens of thousands of years, starting a fire has always been a chore. But in 1826, John Walker discovered a curious recipe for a strikeable 3-inch long match. He was stirring a pot of chemicals when a dried lump formed at the end of his mixing stick, and when he tried to scrape it off, it ignited. He sold miniature versions of these at his local bookstore, but because he hadn't patented the idea, someone else came along to steal it. Eventually, these friction sticks became the safety matches we know today.
Number 3.
Viagra. Two researchers at a pharmacy were experimenting with a new drug they hoped would treat high blood pressure and heart disease, and in the late 1980s they moved on to human trials. Although the drug wasn't effective, the side effects led them down an entirely different industry. Most of the test subjects reported they got massive erections that wouldn't go away. A new clinical trial was conducted, this time with the aim to treat erectile dysfunction, and in 1998 Viagra was finally approved by the US Food and Drug Administration.
Number 2.
The ice cream cone. This is a widely accepted mystery. During the late 1800s, street vendors couldn't decide on what container they should use for ice cream, whether it be paper, glass, or metal. In 1902, two people filed patent for edible bowls for their ice cream, but it was in 1904 at the World's Fair that ice cream quickly sold out. The waffle stands weren't doing so good, so the people that sold the ice cream combined with the waffle stands to increase sales, wrapping up waffles and putting ice cream on top. After the fair, hundreds of people all applied for the patent all at once, and nobody truly knows who was the first one.
Number 1.
Microwave oven. Percy Spencer, an engineer at Raytheon, was doing radar research with a vacuum tube when he noticed something melting in his pocket. His candy bar seemed to be cooking where he stood, so Percy decided to test this notion of invisible waves cooking food by throwing in some popcorn kernels. Every one of them popped. The idea was miniaturized and placed in pretty much every kitchen around the world. Yep. That's it for this countdown. And have a good one!
Well, like I said, it's Dangerous Dolan. Sorry if I said that wrong, but it's his video, not mine. I own none of it. I'll leave a link to the original video below. Well, see you guys. This was React Central.